and border to border, all over the World Wide Web and on 50-plus stations throughout the U.S. and Canada. And, of course, live today on Ustream. Of course, our good friends over there at the Starcom Radio Network as well. 50-plus stations across the U.S. and Canada. Jerome Tercel is going to be with us here in a few moments. He's an award-winning, best-selling author of more than 30 books covering a wide range of topics. King of Media, which is originally published with a different title, tells the story of media mogul Barry Diller and his role over the largest entertainment and information kingdoms in the world. We're going to talk to Jerome here in just a few moments. If you want to get a hold of us on Facebook, you can do so at facebook.com/The Jiggy Jaguar. We are also available on Twitter as well at twitter.com/Jiggy Jaguar. And Jerome is going to join us here in just a few moments. If you want to join us this afternoon on TuneIn, or if you are joining us on TuneIn, I thank you for dropping by and saying hello to us. KJagRadio.com as well. We're also live on Ustream. And we're going to be going to Jerome here in just a second. Jerome, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine today, thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about your books. You have some incredible books, my friend.
Well, the latest one is called Adventures in Heaven and Hell, A Search for Sexual and Spiritual Fulfillment. And I was between books. I usually write biographies about people like you just mentioned, Barry Diller and Alan Greenspan and others. But I was between books, and I started to think about things that were important to me. And all my life, I've been searching for what I would call some kind of spiritual guide for myself. I grew up Catholic, the Catholic school system with 8 years of nuns and 4 years of Jesuits in high school, and then 4 years of Christian Brothers in college. And some doubts came into my mind that way back when about such things as the virgin birth that I started to question, and physical resurrection. So I wrote a paper, and it came back with big red letters on it saying heresy from the dean of the Catholic College. So this is from the dean of the Catholic College. No discussion allowed, just you're a heretic. So ever since then I figured, well, the Catholic Church left me. I didn't leave the Catholic Church. So I started to write a book about it, and along with that education goes a lot of sexual guilt, too, because certain things are allowed, like drinking, but there was always a guilt associated with sex. So I put together this memoir, you might say, about my own search over the last 50 years since college.
We've got Jerome Tercel with us today here on the program. He joins us live talking about his great book, Adventures in Heaven and Hell, A Search for Spiritual Fulfillment. You've been getting some great reviews, Reason Magazine, among others. Tell me about some of the different reviews and what some of the critics are saying about this first edition of the book.
Well, one of them said it was a nice cross between J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye and J.P. and Don Levy's The Ginger Man, which I thought it was, and I try to keep it humorous. I mean, these are serious subjects, but I try to entertain people as well. Other people said it was a eminently readable collection of yarns covering the author's roots in the Bronx, his travels around the globe, and various religious conversions and sexual misadventures along the way. And then Kirkus gave me a nice review talking about a would-be Hemingway on his search for spiritual fulfillment, and sometimes the sexual content outweighs the spiritual. So the reviews have been good. No complaints about that.
We've got a fantastic guest with us today. Jerome Tercel joins us. What was the writing process to put this incredible book together, my friend?
Well, I usually spend about 18 months on the book, and I started off in a fairly serious vein, but then all of a sudden, looking back over the years, it was very serious at the time I was going through it. I mean, the last thing that left me was eating hot dogs on a Friday when I was a Catholic. But later on, of course, it became permissible to do that. So, but at the time, it was a mortal sin. I kept worried about whether I was going to get run over a truck after I had a hot dog on a Friday. So I started to think about the humor involved in this kind of a search, and then it became an adventure, a romp. And at the time, I basically traveled around the world. I went to Australia for 6 months. I was in Singapore, and so on, and learned about Eastern religions for the first time in my life, and became more intrigued by how other people thought of themselves, not just what we think about here in this country.
We've got Jerome Tercel joining us today here on the program. He joins us live. If you're joining us on Ustream, thank you. Also, if you're joining us over on YouTube as well, thank you for that. We've also got the Starcom Radio Network going today. 50-plus stations, 20-plus AM, FM stations across the country and around the world. Jerome Tercel with us today. Tell us about your writing style. Do you have a specific writing style?
Each book, I think you have to find your own, its own voice. When you're writing about somebody like Alan Greenspan, when he was Fed chairman, a little bit more serious. I did a book on Barry Diller, who was an entertainment media mogul, and that requires a different kind of a voice. I did a book on the Gallo wine family called Gallo Be Thy Name, which I guess displays some of my Catholic roots in there in the title alone. And that brought in Prohibition and as well as a story about the whole wine industry and the Gallo's role during Prohibition and so on. So, but I try to stay true to the subject and let the characters speak for themselves. In this case, of course, Adventures in Heaven and Hell, the book is about me, so it's my voice. And I basically try to find humor in everything I do and try to find some irony in a situation. And, I think I did it here with this book, too.
We've got a fantastic guest with us today. Before we let you go, my friend, I wish we had a little bit more time with you, but I definitely want you to follow up with me on email, and we'll get you back on. I'd love to have you on for an entire hour on our on our other programs, because you have a very, very, very good collection of books, and I would love to go over them with you in more detail. But before we let you go, how do we connect with you online? How do we get a hold of you, my friend?
jtuchili@verizon.net.